Oh, Barbra Streisand. Love Babs. Let's see what she has to say. Hey guys, I am Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. I'm the Secretary of State and Chief Election Officer of the great state of Michigan, and we get a lot of feedback on social media on a whole bunch of things, from my hair to our elections, and I'm here today to respond to all of it. So let's get started. And this is the real Barbra Streisand, like legit blue check mark, guys. Rolling Stone profiled 70 pro-Trump election officials who've been put into position in swing states of Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, and Nevada, and North Carolina to make sure that the election results, no matter where they are, do not get certified in those states this year. They are counting on the election results not being tallied as normal if he loses, but there's nothing normal about Donald Trump. Okay, gotcha on that last line there, Babs. Agree there. Nothing quite normal about anything we're seeing this election season. But that said, what I can say and what we've worked to do in all of the battleground states you mentioned, in particular here in Michigan, is to make sure that we do have statewide election officials in place who will guard and protect the results of every election, regardless of their outcome. We believe in protecting the will of the people. And if anyone in our jurisdictions around the state don't follow the law, we will hold them accountable and ensure the law is followed. Next, we have real Robert, not to be confused with fake Robert. And here it is, the state of Michigan. Obituaries confirm beyond the shadow of a doubt the dead voted in the 2020 presidential elections. So last I checked, obituaries don't generally say, hey, after this person died, they voted, but okay. 17,327 mail-in ballots that were sent out to the dead. Obituaries confirm they were still dead on November 3rd and still voted in the Michigan general election. Check for yourself. Well, I have checked, real Robert, and actually it's pretty easy to confirm that there's no evidence of people who are ineligible to vote participating in our elections. And not sure where you got that number of 17,000 mail-in ballots that were sent out to the dead. We don't send out ballots unless a live person requests a ballot, and then we verify their identity before sending the ballot out to them. There are occasions where someone does vote a ballot, send it in, and then unfortunately passes away before the election. And in that case, their ballot still won't count. Becky Douglas, Madam Secretary, very kind. Jocelyn Benson, my psychic says that Kamala will win the presidency. I gotta meet your psychic. I have some questions for them. But the court challenges will take until March. Wow. We got to get that psychic some information about the law. Joe must use his power to retain the White House until then, if necessary. Okay, there's lots of laws in place, actually, deadlines for reporting of results and court challenges. And January 6th is the date that Congress will meet to count the electoral votes and determine the presidency. And there's lots of court cases that reaffirm those deadlines and make sure things go smoothly so that in January, on Inauguration Day, the next president of the United States is rightfully able to be sworn in. So I, appreciate the mediums that your psychic may be speaking to. But I'm going to look to the law and also our election officials that are going to work tirelessly to make sure deadlines are met, and that when it comes to January, whoever is rightfully elected president of the United States in this year's elections will be the one sworn into office on Inauguration Day. Oh, Joan Crawford's eyebrows. Let's see what they have to say. Are plans in place in case some counties don't want to certify? That's a really great question, Joan Crawford's eyebrows. Who knew that you had such great questions in you, in addition to all that beauty? Yes. In fact, we dealt with this in 2020 when some local officials in Wayne County, Michigan, our largest county, were pressured to not certify. The law is quite clear. These officials have one ministerial duty to certify our elections, and then it goes up to the state level, and then they certify at the state level. So all that to say, if someone were to violate the law and not certify the election at the local level, we will come for you. So any local certifier thinking of skirting the law and not certifying the vote, don't even think about it, because we'll get you. Joey Manarino, blue checkmark, so verified. If COVID is gone and lockdowns are gone, why do we still need ballot drop boxes? Great question. Ballot drop boxes are actually required under Michigan law. They have nothing to do with COVID or lockdowns and everything to do with making sure citizens get their ballot in on time. It's particularly important because, let's face it, we love the Postal Service, but if you mail in your ballot late, it might not get in time. Ballots have to be received by 8 o'clock on Election Day in order to count in Michigan. And fun fact, dropboxes are monitored, so they're checked every day, and there is video footage of them so we can ensure that no shenanigans are happening at those dropboxes. Jeff Prime, also verified with a blue check mark. Early voting is a farce. Well, I'm going to stop you right there, Jeff. Early voting is actually required under Michigan law. It's in our state constitution because citizens all across Michigan on both sides of the aisle voted to put it in our constitution as a required right and option for every citizen in our state. All right, I'm going to keep going. Not only does it up the chance for fraud, but voters won't base their choice on the most up-to-date information. Do away with it. I can't do away with it. It's in our Constitution. Mail in for reasonable causes only. Always require ID, especially for registration. All interesting thoughts, not in our law. Our law in Michigan gives citizens 3 options to vote, and every citizen has the right to choose the option that's best for them. They can vote from home, they can vote early in person 9 days before any statewide election, or you could vote in person on Election Day at your local precinct. Jen Rice, we're getting close to election time. That's true. And Twitter is currently, I don't think it's called Twitter anymore, but we're just going to go with it. Twitter is currently an actively worsening, boiling cesspool, don't tell Elon, of AI, bots, and misinformation, true, designed to heighten confusion, discord, and chaos. Yep, buckle up, I'm buckled. Be skeptical, okay. Be on alert, got it. Amplify only stuff you trust. Jen's got it. I have no notes on that one. Good to go. All right, Mueller, she wrote. New thread, just noticed that the Attorney Generals and Secretaries of State in Arizona and Michigan have had their blue check marks removed. Yeah, what's going on there? I'd like to know. So Elon, if you're watching this, can you let us know? Because last I checked, my blue check mark was restored, but my colleagues, including our Michigan Attorney General, Dana Nessel, is still out there without that verification. And here's why this matters. When we're getting close to an election, we want folks on every social media platform to know where to go for trusted information. And for government officials, that check mark verifies that we are who we say we are, and the information that we're putting out there is trustworthy and verifiable. So that's why going to the election season, removing these check marks as people are going to start voting in just a few weeks here, causes problems and harms our ability as state officials to get out trusted information. So X and all other social media platforms, we want to work with you to make sure your customers and consumers have access to reliable information. And that's why those blue check marks or any other check mark that verifies we are who we say we are really helps us get your customers the trusted information they deserve to have to be active, engaged, and informed voters this fall. Richard Bagg. How do we know only legal citizens voted? That's a great question and an important one because in Michigan, as in every other state in our country, only U.S. citizens can vote. Not only do we have layers and layers and layers of voter identification and other procedures making sure that only legal citizens are voting, but all voter information is public. And so if someone who was ineligible to vote actually did cast a ballot, we find out about it and we will prosecute. Donnie Cope. What does D-Cope chatter have to say? Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer passed a new law that prevents a recount of ballots if fraud is claimed. Well, I'm going to stop you right there. Recounts are available to folks who, in particularly close elections, believe there should be a recount. We want to protect that access to recount. And while there was a new bill signed into law regarding and modernizing our recount process, it actually doesn't go into effect this year. So the same law holds that enables recounts regardless of the margin. And the new bill is simply going to make it a little bit more difficult to request a recount and require that there be some sort of legitimacy to the request prior to it being followed, because recounts can be expensive. We also, by the way, conduct audits after every election. That's required under the law. By the way, we did 250 audits after the 2020 election. Every single one affirmed those results and affirmed that they were accurate. Winchester Colt, aka at Scorpio 8675309. It feels to me like Jocelyn Benson wants to shut people up if they don't conform to the official state narrative. Ooh, what's that? What's the official state narrative? Who wouldn't want to shut down anyone threatening their power if they could? It's looking more to me like our government doesn't think it can survive open dialogue. Wow, there's a lot of stuff there. I'm not sure what Winchester Colt had for breakfast or what made them think all of these things about some sort of official state narrative. I think this might be about misinformation around our elections, and what you need to do if you do hear misinformation about our elections is simply let us know so that we can correct it and help you get trusted information out there. Bottom line is we want everyone to know where to find out trusted information about our elections and be prepared for the onslaught of misinformation that will be coming to our state in the weeks ahead so that we can protect voters from being fooled by lies about our elections processes and ensure everyone has rightly placed faith in our elections. Zainab Berry. Jocelyn Benson, is this the prelude for what is to come in November? Referring to a question about Detroit's primary election results that were delayed due to firewall issues. So here's the deal. In every election, and I get this, people want to know as soon as the polls close who won. We all do, right? We've been following these horse races for weeks, for months. We want to know who won. And right after the polls close, that's when results often start getting released. Sometimes, however, after the polls close, our local election officials and poll workers are diligently, securely, and efficiently counting every valid vote and only valid votes. And we want them to be able to do their work and report their results in a way that is secure and protected and preserves the accuracy and reliability of the data that they're reporting. So sometimes that takes time. Sometimes that means there are firewalls. Sometimes that means people are actually delivering physically the election results to the county, and then it gets reported up to the state. But we are going to work after this November's election to make sure as quickly as possible we get those results out. We will not sacrifice security for that efficiency. Oh, Donnie Detroit. Jocelyn Benson, Michigan's Secretary of State, has issued a statement encouraging you to rat out your neighbors. Ooh, sounds terrible. For engaging in unapproved thoughts. Oh my goodness, who is this terrible person? If you express disagreement with government-sponsored truth, I didn't know there was government-sponsored truth. Your neighbors should report it. This is Nazi BS. Whew, that sure sounds awful, Donnie Detroit. Let me break it down for you. I think what you're referring to is the fact sheet about information on our elections and misinformation and when to spot it and what to do if you have questions about information you received. We want to empower citizens with the truth. And there's not government-sponsored truth, there's just the truth. There's facts about our elections and we want people to know them. We want everyone to have rightly placed faith in our processes and in our election results. And so the fact sheet we put out is something we do in every election to make sure if citizens do see falsehoods about our elections, and believe me, there's going to be some coming, that they know what to do and they know how to report it and they know how to find out the truth. And spoiler alert, that trustworthy source of information is going to be your local election official every time. So go to michigan.gov/vote if you do have questions about our elections, and please let us know if you hear something or see something that seems a little off about our elections, because we want to be able to correct the lies and ensure everyone has the truth about our elections.